Good evening. We are live from Wynot High School in Wynot, Nebraska, home of your Class D2 state championship football team. I'm Michael Schumacher as we await the arrival of the team. The crowd is filing in. Just a reminder, last night, Wynot won the first ever Class D2 state championship in football. That goes and matches their championship in volleyball from just a couple of weeks ago. And if you've been listening to At the Mic with myself, we've had a chance to interview a number of the volleyball players. Now, the football players were a little less talkative. We kind of talked to all of the seniors at one time, along with Coach Heimes. I am hoping to get Coach Heimes and Cotner Cook on the show at some point. I want to talk to Cotner after that great day he had, both receiving and running, as well as defensively. But in case you need a reminder of what happened last night, Wynot defeated St. Mary's 71-60. Both teams had 19 first downs. Wynot rushed 39 times for 112 yards. Wynot passed for 394 yards. 23 of 26 for Devin Brummer. Just one interception, just a great game to close out that magnificent career for him. You had Lane Heimes running the ball 24 times for 85 yards, lost 7, so net of 78. He did have one touchdown. Nixon Heimes, 2 rushes for 18 yards. Devin Brummer, 5 rushes for 26 yards, did lose 11. A net of 15. But again, passing Cotner, Devin Brummer, 23 of 26 for one touchdown, for one interception, 7 touchdowns. That's a pretty good ratio. Not sure if you know that, but 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. Not bad at all. Long of 60 yards, 394 yards, just shy of 400 yesterday in that game against St. Mary's. Now, a reminder, that was St. Mary's first loss of the season. They had been undefeated. And then you have receiving, Cotner Cook, 13 receptions, 265 yards, 4 touchdowns. Braylon Hands, 4 receptions for 71 yards. Lane Heimes, 4 receptions, 35 yards. And Nixon Heimes, 1 reception for 13 yards. For St. Mary's, Gage Hedstrom coming in, everyone talked about how he had the touchdown record between passing and rushing, over 70 total touchdowns on the season. He had, I believe, over 2,000 yards passing in the season, 1,500 yards rushing. Let's take a quick look. I want to just remind myself of that. Yes, Gage Hedstrom on the season had 1,964 yards passing and 1,796 yards rushing. Well, the Wynot defense was able to hem him in. He had 23 rushes yesterday, last night for 83 yards total positive, lost 24 for a net of 59, so 2.6 yard average per rush. Passing, 347 yards passing, so he did meet expectations there, but it was on 17 of 30. 6 touchdowns, but was sacked 4 times. Did throw 2 interceptions. So the Wynot defense did a great job of hemming in Gage Hedstrom. Receiving, Ben Barlow had 8 receptions for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Eby, 5 receptions for 96 yards. Drake Berg, 2 receptions for 35 yards. And Lane Bybee, 1 reception for 44 yards. And so again, just Wynot was able to just systematically go through and just take apart St. Mary's. Now, they were down at half. Now, Wynot had gotten the first. Wynot got on the board first as they did kick off, and there was a fumble on the kickoff, and so Wynot took over. They were able to score first 8-0. And then with 8:40 left to go in the first quarter, Lane Bybee took in that 44-yard pass for Gage Hedstrom to tie it up at 8. Wynot then scored on a 2-yard run by Cotner Cook to make it 14-8 with 4:20 to go in the first quarter. The two-yard point conversion did fail, made it 14-8. They then, with 1:46 to go in the first quarter, Braylon Hands took in a 60-yard pass from Devin Brummer. Again, the 2-point conversion failed, making it 20-8. And then just before the first quarter ended, 36 seconds to go, Drake Berg took in a 27-yard pass from Gage Hedstrom. They also did get the 2-point conversion to make it 20-16 at the end of one quarter. In the second quarter, St. Mary's kind of took advantage of a couple of errors by Wynot. They took the lead at 22-20 with 10:44 to go in the second as Ben Barlow took in a 37-yard pass from Gage Hedstrom. 8:08 to go. Wynot scored. Killian Steinhaus took in a 10-yard pass from Brummer, and they did successfully complete the two-point conversion to take a 28-22 lead. St. Mary's came back, tied it up at 28 as their two-point conversion failed, but Logan Brabus took in a 9-yard pass from Hedstrom with 5:22 to go. Then with 4:14 to go, Ben Barlow took in a 28-yard pass from Gage Hedstrom to take a 36-28 lead. Wynot did score, made it 36-34 with a minute 37 to go. Cotner Cook took in that 5-yard pass from Devin Brummer, but the two-point conversion did fail. And then with 37 seconds to go in the first half, Gage Hedstrom had a 1-yard run. Their two-point conversion failed, but they did take a 42-34 lead into the locker room at the half. Coming out, Wynot did get the ball first as they had won the kickoff and won the coin toss and deferred. They came out, marched down the field, and scored on a 22-yard pass. Lane Heimes took in from Devin Brummer. They also scored on the two-point conversion to tie it up at 42-42. That's when Jeremy Sewing and I said, it's a whole new ball game at that point. When it's tied up, it's brand new. Of course, St. Mary's came back with 4:57 to go in the third. Gage Hedstrom with a 5-yard run, two-point conversion failed to take a 48-42 lead. Wynot then turned around, scored on a 58-yard touchdown pass from Brummer to Cotner Cook, and the two-point conversion was successful. Wynot did take the lead at 50-48, and they did not give that lead up. They then extended that to a 57-48 lead with a Cotner Cook 1-yard run, Brummer with the extra point. St. Mary's came back, tied it up, made it 57-54 with 7:42 to go in the fourth. James Eby took in a 17-yard pass from Gage Hedstrom. The two-point conversion failed. Then Wynot with 6:42 to go. Cotner Cook took in a 57-yard pass from Devin Brummer. Braylon Hands took in the pass from Nixon Heimes for the two-point conversion on a bit of trickeration. Made it 65-54. Again, St. Mary's responded, making it 65-60 on a Gage Hedstrom 1-yard run, but that pass failed. And then kind of the play of the game would have been the pass from Devin Brummer to Cotner Cook, where Cotner Cook was held, fell, was on the seat about 5 yards into the end zone, and the pass just fell into his lap. It was a beautiful play, made it 71-60. The two-point conversion failed. The extra point conversion failed. But it didn't matter. At that point, it was too late for St. Mary's to try to make a comeback. And so Wynot wins their first ever state football championship. And again, that is to match the volleyball championship that they had earlier this fall, just a couple of weeks ago. And congratulations to Coach Steve Heimes, as the stands are filling up rather quickly here in Wynot. So glad I got here early, and this is a good time and a good chance to celebrate the Wynot Blue Devils. So we're just going to keep it here. As you can see on the score on the screen, we have the score from last night. St. Mary's 60, Wynot 71. Wynot, the 2025 Class D2 champions. Again, what made our broadcast possible over the postseason, you see them scrolling across the top, but let's give them a shout out, because without them, we're not able to do those broadcasts. And so want to make sure we're thanking Wynot Oil, TLC Propane, Security Bank, Jones Feed and Grain Trucking, Jody Cook Construction, Integrity Insurance Group, Christensen Well, Cedar Security Bank, Cedar Security Insurance, Art Cottle Appliance, Kaiser Ag and Irrigation, Elite Excavation, Cedar Knox Public Power District, and Cedar Beef. All right. Well, I believe we're going to be getting started here shortly. I just kind of wanted to give you a recap of the game, as, again, we will be hearing from Coach Heimes and a number of the players. As you can see, the football championship trophies up there. Runner-up from 2023. They were at the Memorial Field. A lot of these players were at Memorial Stadium 2 years ago. Maybe not significant contributors, but they did have that experience. And then on the right, you see the Class D2 state championship trophy from this season. So congratulations to the Wynot Blue Devils. I see a man with a microphone in hand, so we're about to get started.
2025 football state champions. Before we get this thing started, Mrs. Francis would like to share something with everyone.
Hello. I just wanted to share a really cool story that happened today. Not talking about the glitter. I tried glitter bombing a couple boys and it ended up getting dumped on me. But lesson learned. I got a phone call today from another school. It was their administrative team. And they just wanted to share with us and for me to share with the team and with the coaches in the community how impressed they were with our players and the coaching staff. They said the boys just showed amazing grit on the field and they were humble in their interviews, humble on the field, and just showed kindness toward the other players. And they were very impressed with Wynot. So it's always good to get good feedback from other schools. So thank you for being who you are and congratulations.
All right, let's get started here. I've got a handful of thank yous I do because I appreciate and we cannot do this alone up here. So there's a handful of people, handful of staff, stuff like this I'd like to talk about, thank, and then go on down the line. First, I would like to thank my wife and kids. It is not easy all the time, I'm sure for them, when I am gone. I know the last, I'm going to call it 2.5 weeks, I've been extremely quiet because my brain's working. And I know that maybe aggravates the wife a little bit. But I need to say thank you and I appreciate everything she does. I know the kids, I don't probably play as much as we've done downstairs the last 2.5, 3 weeks or outside and stuff like this because my mind's really preoccupied. So I want to tell my wife and my kids, I love you, I thank you, I appreciate everything you do. You're awesome. I cannot say enough about you guys. So thank you very much. If I can get around for my wife. Next, I would like to thank the parents of these boys up here. I know I ask a lot of these boys of their time, what they do, and stuff along those lines. But it's all for a cause, all for a reason. And I thank you, parents, for everything that you've done, all the support, from the food to the cheering, to talking to me about your kids if they're hurt or something's going on with them. So this way I can help wherever I can on that. Parents, I think you've raised a great group of boys, and I cannot thank you guys enough for everything that you did. So boys, it's now to get time to give your parents an applause. You ready? Go. Next, I'd like to thank the administration, staff, community, and all those people that support us. Again, this is a community win. It's not just a football team win, it's a community win. I know back at the start of football season, we had to go get new headsets, and about 2 or 3 different people, 4 people came forward and donated money, and we had to, I mean, it was $3,000, $4,000 was donated in a matter of a day or 2 days, and said, you guys need new headsets, here you go. Like, this is awesome. I didn't even tell anybody, we were just kind of talking about it. They said, I had about 3 or 4 people come out and say, here you go, here's some money, go get it if you need them. And that's from our community, our staff, and our administration said, well, if we need these, let's go find a way to make this work. And so between that, and so we got new headsets and stuff along those lines. So the community has just been awesome. The staff, the administration has just done a great job. Craig's done a lot with us, being his first year as AD. So I think those guys, everybody did a great job on that. So thank you guys very much. All right, next. I'm going to talk about our coaches just a little bit. I know I'm the head coach, I'm the one in charge, but it is not possible without the assistant coaches that I've got. From Jalen to Mr. O to Ryan Beckman, Jackson Sedbeck, and Kyle. It's amazing the time they put in that it takes away from their wife and kids and the stuff that they're doing. And so I cannot say enough about them. I will tell just a couple stories here. Jackson has a tendency to text me, I think, at weird times sometimes. It might be 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping, all of a sudden there's a buzz on my phone. Jackson, this place won't work, you know that? This is how we set this up, I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden about 10:30 at night, I'm like, do you sleep or not, or wait, stuff like this. So Jackson, and I appreciate everything you've done with that to get the best offensive setup for it. Kyle, you asked me about every Thursday, either Thursday or Friday morning, you text me and he goes, are we going to win today or are we going to win this week? What's my response, Kyle? Yes. Yes. There's a few times I was a little nervous, but yes. So he's been awesome with that. I'm going to, and some of you may have heard this story already. Was it Mr. O? Was it Friday, Monday when we were leaving? What day was it when we were leaving? Mr. O'Shea got out of his car and he did not realize Ryan Beckman was in the parking lot, I don't think. And Ryan Beckman was out before the Central Valley game, correct? Ryan Beckman just screamed, I think, woo-hoo or something. Mr. O's like, he scared the dickens out of me. He goes, I was ready to do my car and drive back home. I thought he was ready to go. He wanted to play football against me right now. I'm just like, the energy Ryan's giving Mr. O, what they've done is awesome. Jalen has not given me good stories to make a little fun about, but we go back and forth talking on schemes, sets, ideas, analytics. We can go back and forth all the time on that. And that to me is amazing. He understands the game so well and what he does, so I can't say enough about him. I do have to do one thing with these boys here, or these guys a little bit. During the state championship, they don't call out the coaches to get their gold medal, so I'm going to do that right now if we can. So, if I will start, I'm going to set this down. So, Jalen, you want to come on up? Kyle, you got a speech made yet? Okay, I'm going to go through a couple of these thank you. Student managers, please stand up. I believe they're all down that way. Zabe Workman, Ty Grummer, Liam Gunther, Ryan Cook, Ben Burbeck, Skylar Beck. I know these guys like them to practice because they usually play football. They do like a few of our drills that we do a dummy hitting drill with a guy carrying the ball and they get to swing dummies at the older classmen carrying the ball, trying not to knock the ball out. They really liked that one. But they did a great job this year, so thank you boys very much. All right, I'm going to get into the season a little bit. One thing that I would say is probably one of the best things that we did this year is dealing with our underclassmen and running our scout teams both on offense and defense. I think they did a tremendous job. They gave us a challenge every day. They were willing to come after us and said, if you don't make a play, we'll beat you. And there was days they beat us, they beat the starters, and they came after us. So underclassmen, I cannot say enough. It varied on what we had to do, right? Okay, Cash usually had to play middle linebacker, and we had to change his read set this week so we understood how to block certain plays, and he did it immediately. Wyatt Nelson is the only person that we found that had the same, I'm going to call him dance moves, as the headshot number 2, the quarterback from O'Neill St. Mary. And we were amazed, like his movement and his body language was saying, he did a great job of that. Against Central Valley, we brought Braxton down to play a defensive tackle and said just shoot low as hard because we were worried about the defensive tackle. He's a great player, and he simulated it immensely. So the underclassmen and those guys that are calling the scout team, you guys did a heck of a job this year simulating the other team doing it, watching tape, knowing what was supposed to happen. So I can't say enough about our underclassmen that did that. That was a great job by them. And I know their favorite thing to do is when we went 2-minute offense. Right? The coaches over there like, yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to play defense against our 2-minute offense because they said we're putting our ears back coming, and they absolutely led. They beat us some days, right, boys? They beat some of the first teamers some days, so that was a great challenge on us. So I can't say enough about that. I think that is one thing that helped us win this year and win games tremendously was our underclassmen stuff. It was just such an excellent job of what they did. Going also to the season, I'm going to say this. I've been coaching. This is my 20th year coaching. I don't think I've ever had such I put it down as the craziest, awesomest season I've ever been a part of coaching. The first game of the year, going to 4 overtimes. We made some great plays, and then we come out on top because of a bad snap. Just awesome. To going into the Arcades game, in which got beaten overtime, and we got down to the game, and the first words out of, I don't know if it was Casey or Jed's mouth, might have been Parker, I was like, we didn't play well. I'm like, well, what are you going to do about this? I'm like, this is something you got to prepare for. He goes, we played okay, we didn't play great. If we played well, I said, we win by 2 scores. I said, well, we understand practice prep, we have to do it. And after that, I think our practice levels took another jump, and we got better and better. The next thing I'm going to talk about is going into the playoffs. Jalen and I were on the bus when we came back, we got talking about this. Fullerton was 5-3, Mullen was 8-1, Hitchcock County was 7-0, Central Valley was 11-0, St. Mary's was 12-0. The combined record was 46-4 of the teams we played in the playoffs. We beat the last 3 unbeaten teams in state. That doesn't happen very often. We played against very, very big competition, and the boys stepped up to challenge, and that was great. I can't say enough about that. I just thought that was awesome, that record, showing who we played in the playoffs. The other thing I want to talk about is this. When we start practice, they know what my expectations are. They're the ceiling. I'm nitpicky, I'm very persistent, and I try to be consistent with them. But the little things make a huge, huge difference. Okay? And so when we're talking about what they do and how they do it, I'm going to start with this story on Carter Heimes. I've told Carter this, and I've talked to his parents, but it was the week before Archangel's game. We were doing individual defects, and we're trying to get our defensive ends with a technique called spillage, is what it's called. And we've worked this hard, and Ryan Beckman's over there with me, and our defensive ends are not moving. Like, we are trying to rep this, and they can't figure it out. And we're going after Carter. Carter, this is what you got to do. I mean, Carter's starting to get So I said, yep, that happened a few times. But Parker has really developed and changed over the last 2 years, not only with his body and where he's pushed it, but also as a leader, especially with young underclassmen. He has taken a very good role with some of the younger guys and pushed them and saying, all right, this is what we got to do with it. This is how you do it. Come follow me. And I've been very amazed with Parker's team since he was a freshman. Casey Hansen. Casey, the state championship game, I do not believe we had one bad snap in it. There might have been one or two offensive there. I don't know if we had a game this year where we didn't have one bad snap at some point in time. There might have been one. All right, Brian saw me in your office a couple times, but they were all caught, so I'm going to say that's good. The other thing I wanted Casey to understand is that as the game went on, Casey tended to get better. Other guys tend to fall off, get tired, especially on the defensive side. He got better and better usually, and you've seen that happen in the fourth quarter a lot of times. Devin. Jalen told me this. He goes, you realize you just won the state championship with a quarterback who never called a play? Most teams, the quarterback in the huddle calls the play all the time. Yet he never called a play in the huddle. He never said the play. Unless it was on his wristband, and even then, I think sometimes he had somebody else say it. And so, most teams, but there was something we had to adapt to. Devin never remembered all the time. And so we had to adapt, and that's what we did. We all adapted from Jed to Cotton to Killian, and most time the guys that had to call the plays. But adapted how it made, we changed what we need to do because we helped each other out that way. And I think that's amazing now. Devin knew where to go all the time, where the play was. And so I just, me and Dale both looked at each other, he said that he goes, he doesn't call a play when we won a state championship. It goes against a lot of stuff what people think college should happen. And it just proves how you can adapt and overcome. Emerson Gunther. This may seem trivial, Emerson, but I remember doing, when we did testing and doing the reach, and then you did your vertical. I go, Emerson, you have to have some of the longest arms in the school or maybe in the county. Because they tell me I have T-Rex arms, for short, but Emerson's, I think, are like 4 or 6 inches longer than mine. And so that's what makes him what he is. He's awesome. The other thing is he's probably the most powerful guy in the bottom half of his body. So when he gets a hold of somebody, he likes to bury him, he likes to put him down. I don't know which guy it was this last game. Somebody has a big mouthpiece, and I think he was talking to you. You got a hold of him and you put him in the ground. Was it? He got you one time when he got back? So. Gillian Steinhaus. I really, really like coaching Gillian. Gillian is probably one of the most smartest players on the football field naturally I've ever coached. He knows what's going to happen most of the time before it happens, and he reads body language extremely, extremely well. With that being said, it was one of the funnest things with that when he was there to do it. But at the same point in time, he can read your body language, and I think he tries to anger you on purpose so you get mad at him to come back at you. I see the smile. Okay? And so I think he reads body language, he reads people so well. And sometimes I think he does it just to get a rise out of coaches and anger them a little bit so they get going as well. So, Gillian, I truly believe you're incredibly smart. But please don't anger people all the time. Jed Nelson. When Jed was a freshman, we were trying to figure out where he was going to play. When Jed was a sophomore, we were still trying to figure out where he was going to play. When Jed was a junior, we were still trying to figure out where Jed was going to play. Okay? I think we played him at tight end guard. I think we played center, played defense back, we played middle linebacker, but we thought we'd have to play a defensive tackle. It took until the senior year before we actually figured out, all right, this is what you're going to do, and this is where we're going to go with you. We really didn't know how big he was going to get, if he was going to get the size of his dad, or if he was going to stay, I'm going to say a toothpick, because he's kind of small. He's kind of skinny, but I just got to so, but Jed, you took everything you could do and used it as great I'm told it was on Sports Center as the number 8 play of highlights in the game. The other thing I would say that you might have, and I'll have to look at records, with the 13 catches and I think it was at 247 yards receiving. I don't know if you set the record or not, but I know it's close. I don't know if you beat the Gilbert guy or not, but I know it's very close. We're still checking on that. But you might have one of the best performances in the state championship history in any class of what happened on Monday at which year. So I just want you to understand that that might be at the top. It's certainly real close. So great job there. Okay? Senior boys. It's been one heck of a season. It was a great job. Very, very good job. I'm going to go to the juniors now. Juniors on down a little quick. Okay? Juniors, you got a lot of big shoes to fill for next year. What you did this year was awesome. Okay? We asked a lot of you guys and you did a great job. Okay? Sophomores, freshmen, kind of a ditto straight down the line. Okay? Just an excellent job what you did, along those lines. The only thing I have figured out that these senior boys can't do is if you group them together and ask them to make a decision on something, it won't happen. It doesn't happen. We had days in practice. I said, all right, senior boys, you guys got to leave this mission. You decide the mission. If I went to tell them to start or change or do this or this, they would sat there talking about what to do for 20, 30, 40 minutes. I thought like someone went down, something like this, still wouldn't have made a decision. The one that they finally made a decision, they haven't got mad because nobody didn't decide, so they decided to do a snake run, where they take off the guy in the back, has to get the front. So Devin, he takes off sprinting as fast as he can. And the other guys are like, what's going on here? They're all jogging. He finishes like 40, 50 yards ahead, and nobody passed him. And he's sitting back and like, boy, they ran a lot further than I would have made him run. So I was happy about it. It definitely led the whole way there. So that was awesome. Last thing for the senior boys. I'm going to tell you this. I think you can do anything you put your minds to. I think you're all very gifted. I think you're all very talented. I think you're all smart. I think you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want to do in life. Does that make sense? I'm so proud of everything that you guys have accomplished. So why don't we give them a round of applause? God, thank you for driving the bus. Now I'm going to feel about you. With that being said, that's the end of my speech. So I'm going to start this guy over here. Give it to Carter first. Okay, so Carter, you got something to say?
Thanks for the support this season.
I don't know, it's bigger than the game, it really is. And I don't know, it's awesome what you got done for me. So.
Thank you, Rob Wenson, for screaming at the refs.
Thanks for all the support, man. It really means a lot to us.
Thanks for the support. Thanks, Todd, for filling in for Ryan.
Yeah, just thanks for coming on every game and support.
I guess I'll share a few different stories that I got throughout the year. I think I was listening to a podcast, I don't remember what it was, but they were just talking about coaching, how a bad team has no leaders. A coach doesn't lead, nobody leads. A good team can have, like, above average team can have a really good coach, no leaders. But a great team needs to have a player-led team. And I really think that's what we had this year. And it actually started, I think, right away as the first game when our headsets weren't working, actually. I was going up and down, I was trying to talk to Devin, I think. And I think it was like the third or fourth overtime, and Crofton scored, and it was tied at that point. And as the boys were coming off the sideline, like, you're Nixon, just like screaming, like, what are you guys hanging your heads? You know, it's a tie game. Why are we so much. So I guess from the get-go, I think we all kind of knew we had something special potentially there, just the way they competed in that game. And then, Hitchcock County game was like 5, right? Get down to a girls game, and then like I was here at 4, but apparently Parker and Case and Hansford are here at 4 o'clock in the morning working out. You know, it's like that's some dedication to doing that. So that took an obvious sacrifice there. And then the other thing, me and Doc was talking about 2-minute offense, and Cat, we like to go back and forth. I think the scout team was like 5-0 against the first team offense, and so Cat would like to talk his smack a little bit. And then we get a little bit more of a competition going than what already was. And then this last week, this is just an example of just Cat. He was playing scout team. He didn't play a lot this last game, but he meant a lot to our team, especially defensively, because there were some teams that he played a lot more. But I mean, our first team would go up to the line and be like, I don't know what the point is of running the play, because Cash knew exactly where the play was going, just based on the formation. So like, he didn't have to be doing that, but he was doing that. And then last night during the game, I think it was the jet sweep pass. I remember Doc put on the headset like, what route should we run? And I was like, I mean, at that point, I was exhausted, trying to call a game or help figure it out. And then I was just like, let the players decide, because they can see the field, better than what we can. And these guys you trust them in that moment because of all the time that they put in. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I guess that's why all of us like to coach. I mean, I'm not speaking for myself, I'm speaking for everybody here. So I thank you guys for that. You guys are a great group to coach this year. So thanks.
First thing I'd like to say is volleyball girls, congratulations. We're going to go get other than that, pretty new here. I just want to thank Coach Heimes, the administration, Tammy, for giving me a chance. Coach on this team. Coached varsity football before at Emerson Hubbard, Tri-County Northeast. I was pretty familiar with that because I played there. I kind of knew everything was going on. I started to figure out why I went 0-3 against Wynot in my high school career pretty fast, going to practices with Doc. And I guess my story would be my dad, pretty curious what's going on all the time. One day he goes, so what's your role on the team? And I said, well, right now I'm kind of running the scout team. And he goes, how's that going? I said, well, Doc came to me at practice and said, I don't care what you do, figure out a way to beat me. And I sat there and thought to myself, well, I'm 0-3, I haven't figured it out. I don't know, what do you want me to do? But that's why I'm going to give credit to my yellows. I know we talked about Cash a lot being a leader on the yellows, but I mean, those yellows were like rabid dogs going out to varsity at times. And I mean, when we told them, hey, this team this week might talk a little crap back, get them used to it. We opened a can of worms that team. With that being said, seniors, a lot of you came up to me last year when you learned I was coaching and said, are you ready to go to your first championship? I then explained I've been to the championship before baseball, but not football. But I don't know, ever since you guys looked me in the eyes last winter, I thought, we're going places. So thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. Younger classmen. My favorite quote from Tom Brady is when they ask him what rings his favorite, and he says the next one. If you're not playing basketball, wait to start next week. With that also being said, girls and boys, go get it done in basketball.
So I pretty much run the defense this year. A couple people I want to thank first is my wife. Thanks for dealing with me physicality. That was fun to coach, and you can't coach that. I mean, you can't teach that very much. It's, you know, the things that they bring to the table. That physicality is so fun to coach, and so younger guys learn something from some of these older guys, right? Who are ready to hit hard and play fast. But yeah, this group of guys, they all did it for each other this year. Yeah, it was never about me, it was never about you, it was about all of us. And they really showed on the teams we played, the teams we beat. So good job, fellas. This is not easy, right? Getting to the state tournament, that's one thing that's hard in itself. And then going to win it, right? Haven't done it in Wynot. It's very hard. So you guys should be proud of what you did. And younger guys should be hungry, right? We got next year, we can go back and repeat it. So yeah, that's all I got. So.
I'm Ryan Beckman, in case you didn't figure it out yet. In the start of the season, I'm more of the fundamentals coach. Need a guy to teach someone how to block, I'm your man. Need a guy to teach someone how to tackle, I'm your man. Route running, you need another man. Honestly, I look at this and what has been achieved, and honestly, I'm almost damn near crying. You boys make fun of me for this. But you gotta look at this, and I think back, I see Aaron Burback, Craig Gowery, Jutter, where's he at there, Justin Hans. They remember me as the fat little student manager on the sideline, and Chad, imagine he was little at one point in time. But we did. Steve Weidler came over the locker when we were first graders in kindergarten, I believe. And it was the first year Steve Weidler took over, or not took over, but was helping around the office. And they were looking for student managers, and we got somehow roped into it. And just looking through the years and how much, honest to God, winning a state title means to so many people. And I look back to the 23 game, you got a butts kick, whatever, but the idea of getting down there, you guys were laughing at us because I swear Craig was probably crying, he had tears in his eyes, Aaron Burback, I know he was. It's the concept of that. And there's just so much that is missed through the years of people that were just dying to play in that game. And that's where Doc says living in the moment, doing things the right way, is all well and good. And then finally finishing it is great. Going on from there, younger boys I've already had 5 of you ask me already. I talked to my wife tonight. It's undecided yet. That was one of my big things, was to get a state championship here. Whether I'm planning to coach next year, as long as it's okay with them. But for that, you can squash that rumor. Lily kind of let that one out of the bag, sweetheart. As long as, like I said, I'll do this as long as they are feeling that I'm helping enough and being part of growing boys and everybody else from that way. And Doc keeps asking me, so, or telling me, I guess. But again, I say the senior boys, a group I haven't seen so much take ownership is in that, like, I don't know, Steve did this for how many years? I missed 1 year in there, probably 2 years maybe when I was in school. But I've been around from when I was this tall till now, and it's been too many years. How many years has it been, Steve? You got any idea? It's long enough. But again, it means everything to the community, it means everything to everybody. It's just a big thing. Younger boys, you gotta get your rings now. Seniors, I think you were gonna buy me one, is that what you said? I don't think so, okay. But anyway, coming back, I was gonna talk about a couple of the seniors. You know, you got, and I won't say any names necessarily, you got the quiet ones, you got the ones that don't learn how to shut up yet. But seriously though, and I'll use Parker Schmidt as an example. The kid worked hard. He worked so superlative hard. Is that right? Okay, perfect. He busted his butt in the off season, and he brought everybody here. He brought them with him instead of here I'm on a dang, pedestal, and that's where he brought everybody to that level. And Parker, I got to commend you for that. You did well. Devin Brummer. You figured out how to throw a ball and not get hit. It's fantastic. We were so worried. I was so worried about you fumbling, but it decided the point, and we did well. No. And again, I'll bring it back to the offensive line. My three fat kids that aren't really so fat. Boys, you worked hard. You learned a lot. Emerson, you played there the most. Tuna, or I guess Kason, we'll call you Kason tonight. You did well. I mean, in all honesty, I'll tell you a quick story. So, leading up to this game, obviously on Monday, we knew that they had a large nose tackle, and we don't necessarily have a large scout team nose tackle. And so I decided that I was going to stand in at that spot. To make a long story short, I went home the next day after, and I hadn't told Angela what I had done. And generally, as soon as I get in the house, I don't have a shirt on. And I am bruised, literally everywhere. My arms, my chest, underneath armpits. And she goes, "What in the happened to you?" And I said, "Dear, don't worry about it." And she got mad. So again, I got to say thanks to my wife and kids. I love you guys. I'm hoping that, and again, that's another thing I said to these guys. When you win stuff like this, and it goes back, you look at Steve Weasel with all the girls' state championships, and they continue. You look at the volleyball team, we won again, or not again, but we won. We continue to win. And that is something that is so important to a community, is to keep moving forward. And again, I say it this way, Jed, my kids still talk about you when they come home from school. "Oh, he did this and he did this." Well, that's a good thing. That means you're setting an example for the next generation, and I can hope that we can continue that with the underclassmen, and we carry on from there. So I'll wrap it up. Doc, do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
So the boys also did something when Ryan was playing nose tackle. And Parker, I don't know, Parker set it up or Emerson cased it up. So a cut block is you have to do it on your first move and you take out a line of plays. It's legal in football. And I don't know, Parker faked cut Ryan. I thought Ryan was going to punch somebody in the face. He was tipped. And they got him good. I haven't seen Ryan's eyes get that big in a long time. Alright, Kyle, let's gotta say something.
Come on, Kyle.
Go Big Blue!
Maybe if you have class and want to say anything, it's up to you guys. Rex? I'm also going to go out to the crowd here if anybody wants to say anything along those lines or anything up there. So I got to remind you of this, and I should have said this. Lane in the state championship game won over 1,000 rushing yards for the season. I do not believe this. As much as we throw the ball with the rush and stuff like this, we just don't have 1,000 rushes very often. I know going back to Tyler Pinkman, but that was 2011. 10 or 11. I yelled enough for this. Again, guys, I can't thank you enough for all the support that you've given us. First, I brought another down was my brother Lee Heimes, who was on the sideline helping to take care of injuries. It just takes the weight off my shoulders if he can do that with the EMTs or whoever's out there. So I want to thank him for doing that as well. So thank you again for that. Anybody else out there have something to say? It's not serious talk.
Book fair opens next week, that's all I'm going to say.
I'm just double checking real quick.
Congratulations, guys, right? Give them one more round of applause, guys. Before I go to take pictures, the last thing I'll say, Coach Riesler, Coach Heimes, there's no pressure on you guys. I just want you guys to understand. No pressure, right? Hey, basketball game's Monday. Let's fill the bleachers. Good job, guys.
We'll probably push that back and try to do pictures right there in front of that sign. Is that sound good, Jess? Okay. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys.
All right, that was the welcome home. Whoa, that's my. I amped up the volume for the microphone. I apologize, just because I wasn't quite sure. That was the welcome home for the Wynot state champions, the first state championship in football, matching the volleyball state championship. And like they mentioned, Coach Heimes and Coach Wiesler in basketball, both were runners-up last year. I think they're going to be competing for not runners-up, yeah. So I think that's going to be a chance for them to both be champions this year. The Wynot girls weren't runners-up last year. I apologize. But boys were. We had a chance to call that game last year. And so we're looking forward to covering more Wynot athletics this winter. We'll see if I'm going to start working on the schedule between Yankton and Vermilion and some area games. And then we'll see what we can get covered for Wynot and Crofton. We do love covering Northeast Nebraska. And again, loved having all of the athletes on from Wynot this year on At the Mic, and we'll be continuing to cover them throughout the winter season. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this stream of the Wynot Welcome Home for Coach Steve Heimes, the coaching staff, and the team. You guys have a great night. Love y'all. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you next time.